What's going on, guys? This is Lowe Gaming, and welcome to the start of a recurring series possibly on this channel. Um, I have done like first impressions in the past. I haven't really done any game reviews though, and this is kind of going to be the closest thing to game reviews. As I don't like giving games like scores, um, subjective scores. I just like to just like give my thoughts on a game. So this is gonna be a start of a series called Lowe's Thoughts, where I briefly talk about some random aspects of a game that I played recently that I like or didn't like about it, the aspects at least. And this one's gonna be weird because I finished this game. Sorry about that noise. I finished this game a while ago, and it's been like a week or so since I played it, so I don't really remember everything about the game, but I should be able to have enough to make a little thoughts video here. We're going to be talking about none other than Metroid Prime for the GameCube. This game is a personal favorite now that I've played it. My history with Metroid prior to this game, I haven't really played much of Metroid, honestly. I played the Super Metroid, and I love that game a lot. It's an amazing game. And this is my second Metroid game. I played a little bit of the first game, like the very first game on emulator, but I never finished it. So Metroid Prime is my second foray into the Metroid series. And after playing it, I want to play more Metroid games. So we'll get started here. First thing I want to note, you'll see like in the bottom right or something, I'll have like a little, I'll give credit to whoever I'm getting video footage from because I cannot record my Wii, which I used a GameCube. I used a GameCube disc on a Wii. The disc was lended to me by my good friend Sawyer24. Shoutouts to him. Lent me the game. I played it on my Wii, but I can't record my Wii since it's all the way downstairs, and I can't bring it up here and hook it up with the PVR. So you're gonna have to just see footage from other people. I'll give credit because it's not my footage. And with that, we'll get right into the thoughts. As for presentation, I do really like the way this game looks. It looks ahead of its time, honestly. The game was released in, I believe, 2002, and just looking at it, it looks amazing, honestly. I like the whole HUD thing. It's like you're the first person. They did a good job overall of bringing it in Metroid into first person. I'll just say that. And I like the whole helmet thing. It really feels like a totally different experience from any other game, honestly, because it really puts you in the shoes of Samus. Like I said, graphics are great. I love the way every area looks. Amazing visuals, especially Phendrana drifts. That area just looks amazing. I love going there and just soaking in the atmosphere. And that's another thing, the atmosphere in this game is just great. Each area has its own little feel to it. And the audio as well as the visuals do a great job of bringing that atmosphere forth. The feeling of isolation and, you know, it's just great. I just love the visuals in this game. I can't stress that enough. It looks way ahead of it. It looks way better than 2002 is all I have to say. And I haven't played. Like I said, I played this on the GameCube. I didn't play the Prime trilogy, which was on the Wii or Wii U. So I don't know if the game looks better there. But honestly, just the GameCube version alone looks great. As for gameplay, you're gonna see me jump to these topics really quickly. Like I said, haven't really played this game in a while recently, and I should have done this like the night I finished it, but I didn't. So you're gonna see like a lot of jumping around. It's gonna be a pretty short video. Sorry about that. But controls, is part of the gameplay, I guess. Controls are the controls were kind of like they weren't right, like, but at the same time I still really like the controls and the way they worked with this game. The controls, you use the GameCube controller, for the unaware, has an analog stick and a control stick. And what you do is you use the analog stick, you press forward and Samus will move forward. And I believe Samus can move backwards as well, but if you press left and right, it won't move you left and right. On the GameCube version at least, it'll look to the left or to the right. I think it works pretty well, honestly. It was weird to get used to, of course, at first, but after the tutorial level, I pretty much had a great grip on the controls, and the lock-on, it worked. That's why they did it like that, so the lock-on's a bit better. I mean, the platforming aspect kind of got bad when you factored in those controls, but, like the parts where you have to do platforming, but other than that, I really like the controls, honestly. It works pretty well for the game. And, you still have a morph ball like you do in every Metroid, and the morph ball works pretty well for the 3D. Yeah, you know, the first-person aspect, the morph ball works pretty well. As for actual, like, gameplay fundamentals, oh, really quickly, I'm gonna go back to the controls. I read about the Metroid Prime trilogy collection that the controls were actually changed so the analog stick would work like a normal shooter, which kind of breaks the game. The Metroid Prime trilogy, I hear, was kind of broken in some aspects, as you can do things that the developers didn't originally intend. So like, but I would say, even though it's pretty hard to find, if you have a Wii, you might want to try the Prime trilogy. The Prime games aren't that hard to find on GameCube and Wii, but to my knowledge at least, but it's like the Prime trilogy. From what I've seen, people really like the controls because you have normal moving controls and you use the Wiimote to aim. And I actually want to try that, as it sounds pretty interesting. But anyways, back to the gameplay fundamentals. So, if you never played a Metroid game, it's all about exploration and finding hidden items to make yourself more powerful, so you can take on things with better, or you know, with more ease. And I really like playing Metroid games because of that. It's a really satisfying type of thing that you build up as you go on in a game, and this game does it pretty much the same as every other Metroid game, or Metroidvania for that matter. I really like it. Like the progression as you get more items. Finding some of this stuff by myself was pretty satisfying, although I will admit, I was like, I didn't want to keep Sawyer's game for that long, so I did actually in the end. I looked up a guide for finding the artifacts at the end, so I could just get it back to him, because I feel like I had the game for way too long. But it's a really fun game to just explore stuff, and you have all these different gadgets. Oh yeah, spoilers, by the way. I will be talking about some spoiler type things during this, so if you don't want to know anything about this game beforehand, then do not watch this video any further. But some of the items you get are really cool. You have your standard beams like Wave Beam, Plasma Beam, Power Beam, Ice Beam. Pretty fun to use. You have all sorts of interesting little things like of course I say they're interesting and I can't think of them. Boost Ball was pretty fun to use, like you use the Morph Ball and you boost through stuff. I'm trying to think, the visors were pretty cool. You had different visors, like scan visors, or the scan visor, you use to scan things and find information. It was a really cool thing to do. And you have the X-ray visor, which was it was kind of hard to look at, but pretty cool. And then the thermal visor was also pretty interesting. So some good items to work for, and get them. The boss fights were... I love Metroid boss fights for the most part. There are some bad ones, and this game had maybe some bad ones, but overall they weren't actually all that bad. Especially the final boss, Metroid Prime. That was a very fun boss to fight. And you also had Ridley, which was a pretty cool boss. There's a lot of cool bosses in this game. Just overall, a really fun game to just actually play in terms of the game itself. I really liked playing it. I would actually look forward to playing it, which is kind of rare sometimes with some games that I play nowadays. I like dread playing the rest of them, but like Metroid Prime, I was looking forward to playing it, which was pretty cool. Alright, the audio, I don't know why I gave this its own category, but audio is probably gonna go with presentation from now on. I don't know why I gave this its own category. But the music in this game is pretty nice. Like I said, it contributes to the atmosphere a little bit. It's just some good music overall, good Metroid music. A couple of my highlights for the game, I only have really two, but I still like all the music in the game, don't get me wrong. But Meta Ridley theme for just being awesome. and I'd say Phendrana Drifts for just being a beautiful piece to listen to. So yeah, if you haven't listened to it, just listen to those. I'll leave links below maybe so you can listen to the full song if you ever want to. It's great music. And as for sound effects, it's pretty standard Metroid sound effects, but still do a good job at giving us atmosphere because you have some of the ambient noises I like. Pretty cool. Alright, this whole time I haven't talked about the plot. There's not much plot to this game. I will try to summarize it a bit. You get a distress signal from a frigate Orpheon, I believe, and you investigate. It's pretty much a tutorial of the game, is going through frigate Orpheon. You have alt stuff, and there's a self-destruct sequence like Metroid games usually have. You have to escape. When you escape, it turns out you crash on the planet Talon 4. You lose all your stuff, and you have to find it all, so you just explore all the areas and find your stuff. You scan artifacts. You can do some scanning in the Space Pirate labs and find some lore, which is pretty interesting lore to read on, actually, about all their experiments with Metroid Prime and just Metroids in general, and all sorts of creatures they experiment on. It's pretty cool. And then you find Meta Ridley when you return all the artifacts. You have to fight Meta Ridley. You go deeper into the impact crater. You fight Metroid Prime, and that is it. Pretty cool game. The plot, like I said, doesn't really have much to it, honestly, but it's still pretty interesting. It's just standard Metroid. I don't know what to say. I just like it. Alright, so my conclusion, if you have a GameCube or a Wii for that matter that can play GameCube games, I would highly recommend you play this game. If you don't have a Wii you can play GameCube games, or you don't have a GameCube itself, find the Metroid Prime trilogy to play this game as well as Prime 2 and Prime 3, which I hear are good games. I just haven't played them yet. But yeah, I would say definitely recommended. And honestly, I think Super Metroid, I might like Super Metroid just a bit better than Metroid Prime. But Metroid Prime is still a great game. It's really hard to choose between the two, honestly. I'll end this video. I'm not sure how much more I'm gonna do of this. If I'm gonna start reviewing like every game. I mean, I will probably LP this game in the future, and I will LP like almost every game. Well, not every game ever. That would be very hard to do. But I'll LP a lot of games. I don't know how much I'm gonna do this. Maybe I can actually, if you guys would like to see me do a little thoughts on a certain game, post in the comments what game that is, and I will look to do that possibly. Anyway, this is it for Lowe's thoughts on Metroid Prime. Overall, good game, play it. And with that, that'll end this video. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. And I'll see you guys on my other videos.